Hello everybody, it's Maikito, and going over yesterday's picks, well, I'd rather not go over yesterday's picks. I reverse sweeped the last time that's happened. That was like first week of me making these videos like 3 months ago. Believe I had like 5 picks total, and honestly, it was I just feel like the reads were there. We're just unlucky. It's very hard for those that watch and know about soccer. You know how hard it is to predict international football. But I have to move on from it. Obviously, I still have to provide picks for you guys. Not let that discourage me, because if I do that, obviously, then there'd be no point in me posting. You got to take the good with the bad, and days like this happen. But all I can do now is bounce back. I doubt I can do any worse than that. There's no way I can do worse than that. The only way from that is to do better. So there were 3 games tomorrow, and there's actually 4 games tomorrow, because tomorrow actually the Copa America starts. So I think this is a good way for me to bounce back. I have an extra game I can look at, a couple more props and stuff like that. So there were some that I did like. So hopefully we can just move on from yesterday's horrible day. We can do good, and I'll go into the picks now. My first pick is Harry Kane to go higher than 2 shots, playing for England, going up against Denmark. And honestly, first of all, just get out the way. I just feel like 2.0 is just too low of a mark for a striker like Harry Kane and his quality. 2.0, I just feel like it's a super safe spot. I know he had one last game, but England in general just had a disappointing game, and I'll get into that soon. I just think 2.0 is just too low for him. Denmark themselves, their opponents, were disappointing in their game against Slovenia. England can exploit the space that Slovenia found against Denmark. Slovenia against Denmark had 11 shots with only 32% possession, and I expect England to get at least 50 to 60% possession. So I can expect them to get more shots. And England need to bounce back from their game that they had as well, because England need to improve on going for the kill. And by that I mean they took the lead in the first half in their game, and then after that they just sat back against Serbia and just allowed them to pressure them, and it almost cost them. Serbia were finding good opportunities, they just couldn't get the shots off. So they need to find a way to improve that against Denmark, because if you do that against Denmark, they will punish you. Even though they had a disappointing game, they obviously are going to want to bounce back from that. But it just shows you that there are many gaps in Denmark's defense that England can exploit, and Harry Kane will be there to find that. And like I said, he only had one shot, but they should have been shooting more. They were just afraid, and I know that I believe Gareth Southgate, which is England's manager, was speaking on that and saying that they need to improve on stuff like that, because they went too hard too soon in the first half, and they'll fix on that, which obviously means Harry Kane played the full game, so I expect him to play the full game again. He's their captain, and I just feel like 2.0 is a low mark for them. If they win this game, they're guaranteed a spot in the knockout rounds, so England are going to go out there and be aggressive and try to get this win. Like I said, I feel like this is too low for a player like him. So like Harry Kane to go higher than 2 shots. If he goes up to 2.5, you could play him there for like half a unit. I just like the safety that you're getting at 2.0. My next pick is on the other side for Denmark. It is Jonas Wind to go lower than 1.5 shots assisted. He had 3 last game against Slovenia, but Denmark did have 16 shots, and I do not expect Denmark to get nowhere near 16 shots against England, sorry. And even if they do get those 16 shots, but again, I extremely doubt that, there's still a good chance he goes under this mark. When he played in the Bundesliga, he averaged 1.29, so already averaged lower than this mark, and that's including when he played weak oppositions and stuff like that. And England, defensive wise at least, are actually pretty solid, or at least when it comes to them holding possession of the ball. And Denmark's chances mainly will come against England and counterattacks, and he's gonna be one of the players that they're looking for. So he's really not going to be, he's not relied upon to play make, which is what this prop is. And at 1.5, I think he's pretty good. He'll be the target for those counterattacks. And England, like I said, they're good at controlling the pace. So Denmark are not going to get nowhere near 16 shots. I expect them to get maybe 8 or 9. Do not expect them, even max 10. I don't expect them to get more than 10. England are going to control the pace of the ball. And just to give you some examples of games that he's played in, he had 2 against Sweden, but they had 20 shots. Again, they're not taking 20. he had 2 against Slovenia, but he had 2 against Kazakhstan, but they had 18 shots. Again, nowhere, they're not going to get anywhere near 18 shots. He had 1 against Finland where it had 16 shots. He had 1 against San Marino where they took 32 shots, but San Marino's just a very weak team and he still went under. So like I said, it's not his job to play make, and that's not what they're going to rely on him to do next game. And when he gets the ball, he's really going to be relied upon to attack. He's not going to get Denmark's not going to get too many opportunities to attack. So I like this mark. I'll take the under against for him against England any day. I like Jonas Wind to go lower than 1.5 shots assisted. My next prop is for England, going back to the England side, is John Stones to go higher than 63.5 passes. Last game he had 64. He went right over, barely over, with 53% possession. And like I mentioned before, England played way worse in the second half. They gave up the ball and they were just trying to sit back and trying to control the lead. And he still went over. If he has 53% possession, I still expect him to go over. But honestly, I expect them to get more possession of the ball because, like I said, they're going to work on correcting those issues of giving up possession to opponents, and they're going to try to control the pace against Denmark. And even the draw is beneficial for England. They're still pretty much guaranteed with the draw, but they're 100% guaranteed with the win. But they're going to work on giving up or controlling the ball and not giving it away, not just sitting back and defending, because that almost cost them last game. And that's just going to be more passes for him as they control the ball more. So I like this mark. And just to give you some examples as well, he played 45 minutes, which is just half of the game against Ireland in a friendly. And he had 58 passes with 68% of the ball. Like I said, that was just in one half. And then he played 63 minutes out of the 90 in the Euro qualification game against Italy. And England had 51% of the ball, and he still went over with 64. And he didn't even play 30 minutes of that game. But in this game, I expect him to play full minutes. And if he does, England get at least 55% of the ball, in my opinion. And I think at 63.5 is a good spot for him. I think England improve at least in controlling the ball against Denmark. Denmark are going to be, in my opinion, they'll benefit with even a draw. And then they can go into next game and win that one. But against England, I don't think they're expecting a win against them. They're expecting probably a draw. So England's going to be controlling the pace. I feel like Denmark's going to be... obviously, they're going to be pressuring, but they're going to be fine if they get a draw. So I like John Stones to go higher than 63.5 passes. My next prop is in the Spain-Italy game for Spain. It is Lamine Yamal to go higher than 0.5 shots on target. He had a great performance against Croatia. He had 1 shot on target, or I believe 2 shot on targets against them. He's one of the few players in this generation, this new generation coming up, that can create his own opportunities consistently. And what I mean by that is that he does not really rely upon his teammates passing him the ball and making chances for him and him shooting. He can easily get the ball, dribble past 1 or 2 players, and take a shot, whether it's outside the box, inside the box. He's one of the few players that can do it on his own. And then if he gets a good pass, that's even better for him, even better for us. And Italy like to press when they are defending and try to cut off passing lanes, and all it takes is 1 through ball to Lamine Yamal. And as long as he's if it's 1 through ball while they're pressing, he could be by himself, or even if he's just in front of 1 player, he can easily take them on and take that shot if he has to. He's a quick player, agile player. He just needs 1 opportunity, and they're gonna need him against this Italy side, who's not gonna be an easy opponent, but he's shown that he can play against good teams like Croatia. And Italy, when they defend, they mainly like to focus on defending the box and not letting opponents like really relying upon the other team sending balls into the box and like beating them in the air. But that's not how Lamine plays. Yeah, he plays on a wing, and sure, he's gonna get those passes, but he just needs 1 opportunity to get into the box or outside the box and take that shot. And I think he gets that. He played well last game, and I expect him to play well this next game as well. So I like Lamine Yamal to go higher than 0.5 shots on target. My last player prop is Dusan Vlahovic to go higher than 0.5 fouls, playing for Serbia, going up against Slovenia. He had 2 last game, so already went over this mark easily, where they lost 1-0 to England. Then he gets those fouls because obviously they're losing, and he has to press, and he like fouls the defender while he's trying to get the ball. and I like it at 0.5 obviously, because he's gonna have to pretty much do the same thing. He's gonna be aggressive because Slovenia will be defensive and play for the draw, because they actually drew against Denmark, and them drawing, it's actually good for Slovenia, because Denmark is playing England and they expect Denmark to lose, so Slovenia can at least get the draw. They'll actually be second place in the table above Denmark and Serbia, so I expect Slovenia to be very, very defensive against Serbia, because Serbia actually has a pretty good attack, and Dusan Vlahovic is going to be there to attack and try to take the ball from them, try to press them. He's going to be aggressive. He can easily get a foul by an aerial duel, him jumping in the air versus a defender, and then him like hitting him while he's in the air. He can get one while he's running and he like trips a defender. He can get one by even someone on the other team while he's pressing them. They could flop and the ref will call a foul. That's going to count for us. He can get one by trying to tackle the opponent, trying to get the ball back. I was just saying there's many opportunities for him to foul, and knowing that Serbia is going to be aggressive, I like this spot for him. And if you look at his averages when he played in the league, when he played for Juventus, he per 90 minutes, which is what I expect him to play next game, or at least 70, 80 minutes, he averaged 1.2 fouls in the league. So it shows you that he's not afraid to be aggressive, and they're gonna need to be aggressive, because as of now, before this next game, Serbia has 0 points in their bottom, so they need to try to get this win. They're gonna be aggressive. He's gonna be there to try to press and take the ball away from them. So I like Dusan Vlahovic to go higher than 0.5 fouls. I want to give a quick shout out to Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito, link in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. I also have my Fliff if you want to do any mobile money line betting. It's a mobile app you can use. And then I also have the memberships for those that want to get the plays early, because plays do tend to shift and move after I post them due to the I'm assuming it's because due to the heavy amount of people betting on the same one over and over again. But there's always people have had suspicions about there could be someone from Underdog or whatever on here, which, I mean, you never know, could be a possibility. But what I have noticed ever since I started the membership is that those people have never had any issues and they've always got the plays. So if you are interested, you could have that, but it doesn't change the content in general. But just in case, make sure to have notifications on so you get when you know it's right when I post a video. And then I also have my Cashapp if you want to donate. Never required. It's just very much appreciated, and I really want to thank everybody who supports me in any way. I usually give at least one money line for the Euros so far, but it's very hard to predict the Euros. You can see with Croatia tying against Albania, Belgium losing, and all these draws has been happening. Denmark, Slovenia draws. So I just feel like it's very, especially this next game, Spain, Italy, that could be a draw. It could go either way. And then Serbia, Slovenia. Slovenia's going to be playing as hard as they can against Serbia. They could draw and stuff like that. So I just don't want to risk it, but there is the Copa America games starting, so I feel a little more confident on those, just because I'm more familiar with the levels of how each team plays. So the one money line play that I do like is Argentina -1.5 versus Canada. You can obviously take just their money line if you want to be safe, which I think is a good safe play. But obviously I want to try to find some value for you guys, so I like the Argentina -1.5. And in my opinion, Canada are yet to prove themselves against big teams. If you go back to the World Cup, I believe they lost every single game. They lost 3-1 to Croatia, and now they're playing Argentina, who is ranked #1 in the world. And I know rankings might not mean much, but to those, at least in the Euros and stuff like that. But there's a reason why they're #1. They're the previous Copa America champions. They're the World Cup champions. They are the best team in the world. They have Messi, they have Julian Alvarez, they have Di Maria, who's going to be up top. And then they have great players, great attacking players who can play off the bench, like Garnacho, Correa, and Lautaro Martinez. And then they have a pretty solid defense with Otamendi, Romero, Montiel, and then Emiliano Martinez, who plays great when he plays for Argentina. And I feel like Canada is going to have a real struggle in the offense and the defense, and I feel like it's a good spot for Argentina in their first game to capitalize on that. They've had plenty of rest, they've had some friendlies, they've been doing pretty well, they've won their friendlies, and now against Canada, who has yet to prove themselves, they're going to be struggling. The only big name they have is Alphonso Davies. I just think this is a good spot for Argentina to go out there and dominate them. I can honestly see this being like a 3-0 win to Argentina. So I just like the value that you're getting at -1.5. So I like Argentina -1.5 versus Canada. thank you everybody for watching. If you would you like the video, and if you have some extra time, could you comment on the video as well, just to boost the algorithm. Doesn't matter what you say, it just helps boost the video out to more people, and hopefully obviously I can improve on yesterday. I still believe I had good reads. I was just unlucky on how the teams played, and it's just hard to predict, especially when they play for those teams like once or twice a year and they come for this big tournament. But I've found some that I did like, and hopefully we could do better tomorrow. So hope you all have a good night and have a good day, and we can cash out and recover and have a good one.